Good morning. So I thought I'd make a quick video about derusting a tank. This is a C100 tank, which the bike itself has only done 52 miles, but it's been sat since 1972 with a little bit of fuel in the bottom, unused. So that fuel's obviously degraded, and the moisture from the fuel has gone around the tank. And the tank, although the rest of the bike was in good condition, the tank was in the worst condition of any tank I've ever seen. Thick rust on the inside. So what I did first of all was I filled it up with a load of gravel, gave it a good shake around, put it on a little tumbler for a while, let it tumble. That got loads of the rust out. I actually emptied out about a cup full of rusty dust. But obviously you need to kill the rust off basically and get the rest of the rust out of the tank. Otherwise it'll just be, as you try and use the tank, it'll just be filtering through and blocking the fuel filter all the time. So what I've done with this is I set it up. It was on a level. I filled it up with some vinegar right there, and I've left that running for, I've left that in there for what, about 3 days now. So I'm going to take that out, have a look what it's like, go from there. I've got this roasting tin, which is really useful. I was given it by a friend of mine. It's really good for having on the workbench for doing anything with fluids or degreasing. I do all my degreasing in it. It's easy to empty out and clean out afterwards. Stainless steel, so you can get yourself one of those. Handy bit of kit. I use that all the time. Right, let's take this cap off. Now you can see that was really rusty in there. Just the cap, but it's turned black now. It killed the rust off due to the acid in the vinegar. Take this engine stand out. Empty this out, see what we got. So that vinegar has come out a real dark colour, a lot darker than it was when it went in, and loads of rust has come out in there. Let me just put the camera on, you'll be able to see. So, that's all black in there, not rusty colour. Let's have a look just inside the tank a minute. Yeah, that is looking really clean in there. Any bits of residue in there are black rather than brown, which is good because it's been killed off by the vinegar. Hello sausage, you alright? Stand up here a minute.
I came to ask you if you could help me brush my teeth.
I will in a minute, I'm just making a video. Yeah. Right. I'll be in a minute, alright? Right. So what I've got now is some soda crystals. A lot of people use baking soda. That's got a pH of about 8. Soda crystals or washing soda is a pH of about 11, which is a bit stronger. And what that will do is any acid that's in the tank and any acid that's sat in the metal.
Here's my personal paint.
Sky, I'm making a video, hang on please. any acid that's left in the tank will be neutralised. So we'll get a bit of water in there, just give that a quick swill out. Outside please. Okay. And then I'll empty these soda crystals in. These are obviously cheaper as well than using a load of baking powder. So we'll pour some of that inside. This neutralises it, obviously because this is an alkaline and the vinegar is an acid. So it neutralises the acidic pH of the vinegar. The alkaline. Right, so get some more water in there. Now, you may want to leave this in there for a bit, for a few hours, keep giving it a little bit of a shake. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to give it a good shake up. So when you put gravel in there, you need to either keep shaking it for a while initially, or I put mine on a paint mixer on a screwdriver and had it spinning through a ring spanner and just left it tumbling for a few hours. Okay, so that's had a good shake around in there. I'm going to empty this out and then I'll come back and endeavour to show you inside the tank what it looks like now. Outside please. Okay, so I've emptied that out. Still black bits coming out, so it's going to need a good rinse out. I'll give it a good rinse out with water. Let's have a look if I can show you in there. There you go, look. Now that tank was thick with rust. And you can see in there now, that is pretty much bare metal. Okay. So I give it a rinse out with water, but then obviously the danger from there is that it will flash rust and you'll end up with a load more rust inside the tank. So my answer to that is to pour some Evaporust in it. I use this Evaporust quite a lot. I found it the best deruster. I use it a lot in my sonic cleaner because it can do with it does a lot better with a bit of heat in it, this stuff. So I put it in my sonic cleaner, put the heater on, heat it up, put my rusted parts in there, leave it overnight. By the time I come back in the morning, the parts look like new. It de-rusts things like nothing else I've ever seen. And it's pH neutral as well, which is good. So what I do with this is if you don't rinse it out at the end, it leaves a coating on there. Obviously only temporarily, but it leaves a coating on there that stops flash rust. So what I'll do is I'll rinse this tank out with water, make sure it's nice and clean, and then I'll pour some Evaporust in it straight away, give it a good shake up, empty the Evaporust out, but then not rinse it, just leave that Evaporust in there. That will dry. You can dry it by putting a heat gun in the hole and a heat gun in it, or a hair dryer if you haven't got a heat gun. Just make sure the tank's dry so it's not got moisture sitting in it. But that Evaporust will leave a coating on there which will stop any flash rust forming until I'm ready to use it. Then when I'm ready to use it, I'll put my fuel straight in, and then once you're filled up with fuel, obviously you haven't got oxygen getting to it, and it shouldn't flash rust. You may have a bit of a problem if you leave it with low fuel in, which is what causes the problem initially. But if you always leave your bike stored with a full tank of fuel, then you don't tend to get the get the condensation that causes the rust inside. And I also use fuel fit as well, which stops the fuel separating, stops the ethanol separating into water, which causes condensation as well. There we go, that's about it. And that's been helpful in some way to some people.